All right. Andor is getting a lot of heat for this. But I didn't even watch past episode 3 of Andor season 1. And I believe Andor season 2 is out already. I to be honest, I have no idea. I don't really care about Andor anyways. But it is the best Star Wars show that nobody's watching. But this comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. Andor creator explains that shocking assault scene, we're all product of rape. Huh? What happens? Did somebody get sexually assaulted in the show? What's going on? Tim Gilroy on why that sexual assault attempt against an undocumented fugitive in the show's season 2 premiere block was necessary to tell an accurate tale of revolution within the Star Wars universe. Star Wars is considered like a kid's franchise right now, especially with Disney owning most, basically not owning most, but basically Disney owning Star Wars in general. Why the fuck would you put that? Why would you put that in your show? This is so weird, right? Undocumented fugitive. Maybe they're trying to show sympathy to Kilmar, the guy from MS-13. I don't know. Let's see. Disney Plus acclaimed Andor. Is it acclaimed though, even though nobody watched it? Has stretched the creative boundaries of Star Wars in countless ways, bringing a grown-up sensibility to a galaxy far, far away. Yet even by Andor standards, a scene from the second season is leaving fans shocked. An Imperial officer tries to violently rape a rebel fugitive, Bix Colleen. Hold up. I need to see how this girl looks like. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh shit. Who is hiding out in a farming settlement while Imperial troops are rounding up undocumented citizens. Read some sample reactions below. The sequence plays out the course of the show's 3rd episode. The first 3 episodes were released all at once on Tuesday, with the officer's flirtation with Bix growing increasingly persistent and eventually culminating with a brutal life and death struggle. Bix eventually gets the upper hand and the officer is killed, but Andor boldly leaves zero ambiguity as to what viewers just witnessed as Bix screams, "He tried to rape me." The fact that she said that in a young adult kids show, I guess you would say, right? Because Star Wars, if you think about it, it's like for kids who are like boys, let's say, that are like 8 years old to like 12 years old. I would say it's the most popular amongst that. And then of course you have the people who love Star Wars in the beginning, right? But yeah, it's sort of weird. This is more of a kids show than anything else, right? Because if you're like, oh, Star Wars, Grogu, Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, that's awesome. Let's watch season 2 of Andor. It's sort of weird. Okay, now maybe they're saying that, oh, you know, this is not a kids show, but it doesn't matter. Kids gonna watch this stuff anyways. Now it's definitely really, really up to the parents who, you know, whether or not they allow their kids to watch this kind of stuff. Look, I watched Showgirls when I was like 8 or 7, which is pretty crazy, you know. Elizabeth Berkley looks pretty good. Star Wars is a franchise that has never, in film form, shown even consensual sex. During its first season, Andor pushed the envelope with scenes that suggested sex was about to take place, or just had much like old Hollywood films during the Hays Code censorship era. When asked about the big scene, Andor creator Tim Gilroy explained that The Hollywood Reporter, when telling a story about a war shying away from sexual assault, didn't feel truthful. In a Star Wars thing, if I was Tony Gilroy or I'm the creator of Andor, I would leave this out because this is fucking space fantasy. Why the fuck would you actually put stuff like this where kids watch this? You know, it's like, we gotta put real shit because of war. Yeah, we know that shit exists in real life, but this is like fucking science fiction. Like, you don't need to put that shit in there. It's so weird. I get one shot to tell everything I know or can discover or I've learned about revolution, about battles, with as many incidents, as many colors as I can get in there without having the story tip over. I mean, let's be honest, man. The history of civilization, there's a huge arterial component of it that's rape. All of us who are here, we are all the product of rape. Let's say I play devil's advocate here and say that you are correct. Does that belong in Star Wars? I don't think so. I don't think it belongs in Star Wars. But yeah, like kids aren't watching Andor, adults aren't watching it either. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Like, whether or not you think Gilroy is like right, chat. Like, if you guys, whether or not you agree with this, it still doesn't belong in a Star Wars like series, right? This is super weird. I mean, armies and power throughout history have committed rape. So to not touch on it in some way, it just was organic and felt right. Coming about as a power trip from the sky, I was really trying to make a path for Bix that would ultimately lead to clarity, but a difficult path to get back to clarity. Now, I want to know whether or not the scene needed to exist for her growth. And if that's the case, if you want her growth to be about, oh, the reason why she's who she is because she was raped, if that was removed entirely, would her character still make sense, right? If that is the case, then yeah, but like I said, in a Star Wars series, that's weird. You know, Disney's a family-friendly company, right? Asked about Disney's reaction to the scene, Gilroy says he didn't get to any studio pushback. Of course he didn't, because they're showing the Empire. Now, the Empire, in a way, would sort of, I guess you would say, reflect on current day, because they're saying that the current regime or the current administration is, you know, authoritarian or fascist or, you know, fascistic. Excuse me. And they basically rape and murder people, right? I'm not sure if that's what Gilroy's trying to say, but that's what I'm getting at. Especially with the stuff that's happening in like Gaza, Palestine, Israel, you know, Ukraine and Russia, whatever war that's happening right now. I don't fucking really care anymore. But with that, like, are they trying to say that, oh, this fugitive, undocumented fugitive was raped by the Empire? And are you trying to like relate it to something? What are you trying to say here? Right? So there's a reason why stormtroopers wore crotch protectors. Hey, there's a reason I don't. There's a reason why I don't do it. See, no one ever said anything about it ever. But I mean, we have limits on what we can do. We are very aware of what we can do sexually and violence-wise. Those limits, excuse me, are made very clear. Bix has had a particularly brutal journey on the show so far, having already been captured and tortured by the Imperial Security Bureau during season 1, an experience which has left her traumatized. I don't think you need to sort of like do the whole raping and sexual assaulting again. Like, not again, but like, you don't need to do it in second season. It's because this is already, this is already damaging enough, right? I like, it's already damaging enough. Like, you don't need that shit to happen. So where the fuck am I? Oh, here it is. The fan reactions have been divided. One major Star Wars fan account wrote, "I don't want to see rape in Star Wars. You can portray power dynamics and making the audience hate the Empire in other ways without taking it to such a disgusting place. Vader wouldn't tolerate that shit, nor does the Empire condone it. It has no place in Star Wars, period." Another pop culture fan account wrote, "I don't mind having mature Star Wars, but I'm not okay with it going so far as depicting an attempted rape or saying the word rape. I'm actually quite disgusted with Andor series right now." Yeah, sort of weird, right? So who's this fan account? Star Wars Theory. Shout out to Star Wars Theory. He is one major. He is not one major. He is the biggest Star Wars like YouTube account, which is crazy. Which is like awesome though. But like, yeah. Let's see. While another fan account was one of many that praised the move, Andor dared to go to the darkest places Star Wars could offer. An Imperial officer abusing his untouchable status to rape an undocumented migrant. You mean undocumented illegal migrant? While his troops are rounding up other undocumented citizens. This is like an oxymoron. If they're undocumented, they can't be citizens because they're illegal. This is the real world seeping into Star Wars storytelling. This is the world we live in, reflected in the galaxy far, far away. This is Star Wars at its most political, its most potent, its most frightening. I must commend the writing team's bravery to not shy away from such topics, to depict fascist regimes. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? They're basically comparing this to the current administration. And this is the reason why Star Wars and Disney is okay with this, is because they do not like the current administration, right? To depict fascists as they are. This right here, it's plain as day. There's no other way for you to depict this, or I guess you say illustrate this, is because they're clearly talking about Trump. And yet another fan account pointed out several previous suggestions of sexual servitude in Star Wars, often with scantily clad female characters. Look, the Princess Leia thing, whether or not she was raped by Jabba the Hutt, if she was raped by Jabba the Hutt, she would probably be dead. But she was a slave, right? But it wasn't mentioned that she was raped. People just called her Slave Leia. It doesn't have to be mentioned. You don't have to fit like you gotta give your fan base or people who are watching you, the viewers, more. You gotta give them more credit, because like if they see a girl, her clothes are sort of like ripped, the guy was like buckling his pants, you don't need to say I was raped. We know, like Jesus, like they're so stupid. Like what happens to show don't tell, right? As a writer, as a creative, you should know, show don't tell. You don't need to tell. You don't need to tell the fans I was raped. You don't need to do that. Yeah, exactly. It could be implied. You don't need to tell people, because we're not dumb. But Star Wars and Disney, they do think the audience, they think they're retarded. The episode also featured a rather stunning sequence with Mon Mothra furiously dancing at her daughter's wedding, even as she knew a man was about to be murdered to protect her secret ties to the Rebel Alliance. The sequence was full of frantic energy and showed a rather different side of the stately senator. It's my contention that Mon has the hardest road of any character in the whole show. Other people suffer all kinds of sacrifices and all the physical threats. She has to do everything under glass, being examined all the time. She's continually watched. I really wanted to up the stakes here. She's tactically involved in what will be an assassination and has to go back into the party, which is this joyous event for everybody else in that kind of chaotic mental state and with that kind of guilt. She's dancing instead of screaming, and what's fascinating there is that nobody else in that room except you, the audience, who understands that's happening to her. if you can do this for Mon Mothra, you could have done it with Bix. But yeah, this is sort of weird. Gilroy has discovered that the Hollywood Reporter, another key scene from the first episode, which has a real-life Nazi inspiration, right? And remember, they keep saying that Trump and Republicans and MAGA party are Nazis. They keep beating the normies over their head with this bullshit that nobody believes in, besides these fucking fringe minorities such as AOC, Harry Sisson, basically sucking the dick of David Hogg. But yeah, sucking David's hog. Sorry, chat. Sorry. Andor is Disney's acclaimed Star Wars drama series, which currently is the highest rating of any Star Wars TV show or movie on Rotten Tomatoes. The show follows the adventures of the Rebel Alliance leader, Cassian Andor, and leads up to the events of the film Rogue One. The 12-episode second season will be released in 3-episode blocks over the next 4 weeks. I don't think anyone is going to watch this unless you're a diehard Andor fan. Like I said, I never finished this. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah. We'll see what's gonna happen. Like I said, it should be implied. It shouldn't be just blatantly, hey, I was raped. Yeah, this is fucking retarded. And they're basically trying to mirror the Imperials, you know, the fucking the Empire, I would say. Basically comparing them to the current administration, which is fucking disingenuous, fucking retarded. And yeah, this is another reason why a lot of normies, which is the people that you're trying to get to watch the show, will not watch the show. Because once they see this, they're like, yeah, I'm not watching this shit anymore. But yeah, David Hogg's cocktail weenie. That is true.